Hello, Southwest Florida homeowners and homebuyers. Welcome to the 239 Real Estate Roundtable Podcast, your go-to source for navigating the vibrant real estate landscape of our beautiful region. I'm your host, Kevin Tremmel, a local real estate agent, leader, and investor here in Southwest Florida. On this podcast, we bring you insights from best in the business, top-notch real estate professionals, seasoned agents, and experts in everything from homeowners insurance to mortgages, maintenance, and repairs. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned homeowner, we've got you covered with tips, strategies, and valuable insights to make your journey in Southwest Florida's real estate market a breeze. Get ready to unlock the doors to successful home ownership. This is the 239 Real Estate Roundtable Podcast, where we demystify the process, share insider knowledge, and ensure you're well-equipped to make informed decisions. Let's dive in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the 239 Real Estate Roundtable Podcast. Today we have Nate Wright on. Nate is the broker and owner of Vibe Realty, one of the newest brokerages in Southwest Florida. I'm super excited to learn more about. Welcome to the show, Nate. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Kevin.
Awesome. Why don't we get started by you just telling us a little bit about yourself? How did you get into real estate? When did you get into it? How's the journey been? And you can start from when Nate was 1 year old all the way to today, or you can start 2 years ago or a year ago. It's up to you. So give us the rundown.
Awesome. Well, we'll start at like 2015-ish.
Okay.
So I had a child and I was in food and beverage. So I started off, at the bottom, as most do in food and beverage, worked my way up from busboy to waiter to bartender to dining room supervisor to assistant food and beverage manager. And I was climbing that corporate ladder and I was extremely happy about it. I felt like everything was going very well. And then I had my daughter and I was leaving for work and she was sleeping. I'm coming home and I'm putting her to bed and it started to weigh on me. And one promotion that I felt like I should have got, I was passed up on, and that started the gears turning. And I was approached by a good friend of mine who was in like multi-level marketing. So I tried it, did decent, but there was something missing. I felt like I was pushing products that I didn't truly believe in, didn't have the passion for, but I was pushing hard. So one day, a family member of mine basically said, Nate, if you send me one more message about this, I'm unfriending you and I will block you. But you are very persistent at this. And she was in a brokerage in Virginia. And she said, if you're this persistent on selling these products, I think you would do amazing at real estate. Right. So got the gears turning. I slowly started taking the steps. I got my savings up a little bit. I used my vacation at my career to go take my real estate course. And then I dove in part-time and was, doing the whole hide in the bathroom while I'm answering the phone for a client type thing. Mm-hmm. And slowly realized I needed more time for the business, for my business. So I slowly stepped out. As when I missed that opportunity for the promotion, I basically told him I'll stick around. If I feel like I'm learning enough from this new guy, then, I'll stick it out. And very quickly, I realized that there was not much I could learn from this individual, unfortunately. So I stepped away, put in my 2 weeks, finished up there, went full-time in real estate for 8 months, and nothing happened. And then I realized I have about $300 left in my bank account, so I got to go get a job. So I did. I went back and picked up some shifts, doing bartending and things like that. And then I got my first deal, and it just catapulted from there. But that first year, I was focusing really on like the people nobody was really giving service to, which was people looking for rentals. Mm-hmm. So someone would post online, "Oh, I'm looking for a rental," and there would be crickets. Nobody would respond. Same person posts 2 minutes later, "I'm looking to buy a house," and we'd have 450 comments within 15 minutes. So I decided I was going to service that demographic that nobody was even wanting to help. They still need a home. They need to get a roof over their head. So I took that opportunity to get familiarized with the products that I was hoping to be selling soon, built my foundation of people that there's something real about helping people when nobody else wants to. And then when you educate them on how they can become a homeowner, because most people that don't know what they don't know. So started educating them on how they could become a homeowner, and my second and third year just took off. So after that, I built a team. I had a team, I believe we were up to 17 or 18 agents at one point. And it was very fulfilling for me, because then I was able to help people get into homes, and I was able to help teach people how to sell real estate and change their life and their future. So I got a lot of joy out of that. Fast forward a bit, I ended up opening Vibe Realty with my business partner to do that in a larger capacity now. So
yeah. Is your business partner also an agent, or is he more like a business owner, or is like he's a broker / agent as well? Or she?
Yeah, she's a pretty good producer as well. Like that's one thing that I wanted to make sure. Like we are agents that will still be selling real estate. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in the whole competing broker term. There's so much business out here for everybody. And I have my SOI that I've already built. She has her SOI. We don't really look for new business all the time. So a lot of the stuff that comes into us, we hand off to agents. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I had somebody that I knew things don't go as planned, we could still float it ourselves with just her and I.
Right.
So
right.
Luckily, it did better than that.
Sounds like, yeah. And you guys have been open, you said, since January of this year, which is 2024, right? So you're kind of now coming up on your 1 year anniversary.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So it's been a good year. And of course, nobody ever enjoys a slower market, but we feel like it was a good time for us to do this because the market has slowed down a bit, and we were able to really make sure we got all our practices and procedures in place, and our training is ready to go at 100% now. So I feel like if the market would have been busier, we might not have had that time, which would have been a disservice to our agents. So it's been a good year.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and I mean, I had a similar experience. Like I started January of this year as well, and it's been a good year, but also not insanely busy. So it got me some time to just get my systems in place and things like that. So I know where you're coming from with that. And then one follow-up question I had. So you said after deal one, because in my experience in real estate is definitely also a momentum game, right? Like kind of what you were getting at. Once you have that first deal, the goal is to keep that momentum going. I guess my follow-up question would be, you said after your first deal, everything really started to fall in place and take off. Was there anything in particular that you did after that first deal? I mean, I'm thinking usually obviously when you get your first deal, a little bit of money comes in. How did you reinvest that money or your time or other resources to kind of make sure your business goes like this?
It was more so just the follow-up. So, and that was the follow-up with the rental clients that I had. So when I was showing rentals and I'd be in the house, usually people would ask me, "Hey, Nate, why do you help everybody with these rentals? I know you're only making, $100, $200, this or that." And I would be very transparent with them. And I'd say, I know what it's like to need a place to live. Absolutely. But also, I met you on these forums. So if you see an opportunity for me, I just appreciate the referral. And it just bonkers after that.
Wow.
Because I'd helped so many. I probably did over 100 rentals in my first year.
Wow.
And was literally just focused on that. But it was building the foundation, so now I have at that point, now I had built a foundation of people in my database that knew I wanted to help them become homeowners, because I would ask them while we were out, "Hey, have you considered owning a home?" At that time, the rental prices were very, very similar to what you would pay for a mortgage. And I'd let them know, you can get a new construction home, because I, like yourself, I was very big into like new construction, just all the incentives and the peace of mind, the warranties, things like that for a first time home buyer, especially a young family that is dumping all their savings into this purchase. To have that peace of mind for them was phenomenal, but also for me, that's the last thing I want, is to put someone in a home and then 2 months later, oh, Nate, the AC just went out and we have no money.
Yeah. I didn't know an AC was $6,000 to replace.
I just paid like almost $8,500 for mine and had no clue. So the follow-up. So like I had a very strategic plan. So month one was reach out. Hey, how's everything with the property manager? If I hadn't worked with that property manager in the past, I just want to know, get some feedback so that when I bring future clients there, I want to know how they treat people. Like month 3 or so, I'd reach out. Hey, when we met, you had spoken about potentially wanting to buy a home in the future. Let's sit down, grab coffee, go over, what you should be expecting, try to get your ducks in a row for when the time is right. And then about month 6, if that was something in their near future that they were anticipating wanting to do, then we'd get out and we'd start looking at some homes, seeing what they do like, what they don't like, and really putting pencil to paper on numbers and show them, hey, right now you're paying $2,000 a month. For this brand new home, you can pay $1,800 a month. And just showing them the steps and the different loan products and things like that they could have access to with local lenders here that have always done phenomenal for me. Yeah. So it was really just the follow-up. I spent money one time on mailers. Then I was taking my mail out and I was noticing I was pulling out my envelopes and putting them on the desk and taking that whole other chunk of mail and just throwing it right in the trash. Yeah. Started envisioning my face in everybody's trash cans, like
right.
So I ended up starting an indoor digital billboard company to help me with some of my brand awareness. So that helped out a lot as well. So if there was any reinvesting, that was what it was. But I never really, still to this day, I mean, I've spent money on ads for lead gen for agents. And still, like, I don't think I've come close to breaking even on it. I'm not a big fan of spending money on lead gen. Yeah. I would rather teach someone to fish than hand them fish,
Right. It sounds like your strategy is very kind of organic, relationship building, sphere of influence, and then referrals from that sphere, and then just all very organic and very unique approach with the rental. Because like you said, nobody services that because, the money, as a good example with you, it'll like it's a long run game, right? And it sounds like you were in the beginning, like you were focusing on the rentals, and then you were on the renters, and then you were getting referrals from those renter clients from actual people that they knew that wanted to buy. And then you said like, then 2-3 years down the road, those renters are now ready to buy. And now it's like, you're getting referrals from the renters and the renters are ready to buy. And it's like this whole, so that's a really unique strategy. It's super cool because, as you know, most experienced agents or brokers, they preach new agents, expired listings, FSBOs, and hammer your sphere of influence, essentially, right? So it's a good way to just get some extra building your database in your sphere. So I like that a lot. And what would you say, working with buyers, like what would you say kind of sets your services apart from like other agents in Southwest Florida?
So with buyers, this kind of goes back to the thing that I said about not being able to sleep at night if, something goes wrong. I don't think our job is to sell a property, like at all. I think we're matchmakers and we basically take notes on what they're looking for, find them what they want. And then this has been a kind of a tough conversation to have sometimes because there'll be times where it's the very first house we go see. They're in love with it. And as we pull up, I'm very transparent. I say, look, I might burst your balloon here. We might go in, we might find something that I won't feel comfortable like saying you should buy this home. If you want to go through with it after that, then so be it. But my job is to go in and find reasons why you should not buy this house And if I cannot find reasons why you should not buy this house, then I think it's worth moving forward, get a home inspection, after we go under contract and things like that. But I feel like a lot of the industry looks at it like, and this is the term commission breath, like they come in and they're like, oh, this is great. Yeah, you should buy this one. Let's get it done.
Yeah, let's buy the first one.
Yeah, and it's like, I catch a lot of flack for it, honestly. Like some people in the industry that I know are like, oh, you've shown these people 35 homes. What are you doing? Like, tell them 5. Tell them to pick 5. I cannot do that. Like, we're not buying shoes, like it's a home that they're going to live in for multiple years, and have a big payment for. It's, I don't know. I just can't get behind rushing somebody into buying something. This is what we do. We're matchmakers. If we're not able to find the right match quick, then that's kind of on us,
Yeah, right. How did you buy your first home? With another agent, or were you already an agent when you bought your first home, or like how did that go down?
My first home I bought in 2015, so it was right before that as well, from a great friend that I worked with at the Westin here in Cape Coral when I was in food and beverage. And we didn't even know we could own, like we were in the same exact situation that so many people are in, where they've never really felt comfortable to talk about their finances to someone else and to see if there's an inkling of hope to purchase.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the benefits of owning a home. So I thought, if I own a home, then I got to fix everything, and that was a worry. So I talked to her and she got us out looking at homes, and she showed us probably 20 plus homes. And we finally found the one we wanted, bought it, lived there for 4 years, ended up buying our second home. I represented myself on the second purchase, but that sale was actually a client that I had been showing new construction for probably like 4 months, and they found one, went under contract. Literally 2 weeks before closing, the deal falls apart from something that should have been found way prior to this, and they had nowhere to go. I had just closed on my home, so I decided to sell that one to them. It underappraised by about $20,000, which I still don't understand how it happened, because there were comps all over this neighborhood. But he's a great family, so I was like, if I'm going to lose, I'm very happy to lose to them. He's a vet, and they just are amazing people, just amazing people.
Yeah, because you would have, the appraisal sticks, at least with FHA. So like, once the appraisal's done, like you would have lost like money anyway. Right. Like if you're trying to sell that house, like on an FHA, the appraisal sticks with the house. So yeah, sounds like rather to someone, the devil I guess, versus the one kind of thing.
Exactly. And he was a good friend, so I'm like, if I'm going to give up 20 grand to anybody, at least I know him.
Be him. Yeah, cool. Yeah. And then, so with you opening a brokerage, and this year, and we kind of talked about this a little bit off camera. There's many brokerages in Southwest Florida, and even more agents, right? So you have to set yourself apart, and a lot of things work, right? There's many different ways to skin the cat, and everybody kind of finds their niche. So with like drone photography and social media campaigns and open houses and mailers, like what have you found is the most effective marketing strategy, whether it be for like a listing that you're representing, or even for yourself, like as the brokerage or as an agent? Like what's your favorite? What's your top pick, I guess, if you had to choose?
So we're very open house heavy. For a few reasons. One, you have usually a high percentage of people through the door actively looking for real estate. Probably not the house you're in, honestly. I think it's like 3 to 5% or something like that for the conversion rate to actually sell that home at open house. Yeah. But it's good for agents to be there. Treat it as an office, go there while there's no one there, work on social media stuff, work on your business plan, work on other things to keep you occupied. So open houses, I'm all about open houses. I have a couple of agents that are really good on the phones. I am not. I think I could be good on the phones. It's very hard for me to get off the phones. I feel like once I build a good rapport, I don't want to risk that with rushing off the phone. So there's been times where I've been on the phone for 2 hours, and with one person. So I realize that's not my best use of time, but I do see it. I see it all the time. I mean, we got 2 in here that every single day they're in here calling, and they're both on multiple listing appointments every week. So it works. I know a lot of people don't want to do it.
When you say calling, sorry to interrupt, but you mean like it sounds like expireds or FISBO, like for sale by owners. When you say listings, multiple listing appointments a week, sounds like you're calling expireds. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah. The recent expireds, not so much. Nobody wants to be the 30th call or the first call at 7 a.m. So the expireds that have sat for a little bit and not relisted quite yet, the ones that are willing to talk, but for sale by owners, for sure. For sale by owners, we appreciate the fact that they're trying, they're trying to do it. And in a market like this, sometimes it is a necessity because there's not enough meat on the bones to pay an agent. They may have overpaid 2 or 3 years ago. And now where the market is, it just doesn't work, Yeah. So in those situations,
once closing costs are paid and you factor in commissions and just concessions and whatever,
right. So
it's adding up.
It does. It really does. Yeah. And unfortunately, some people are stuck in between a rock and a hard place. And we still like to give some kind of guidance.
Yep.
Even if it's just a conversation over coffee, because we still want to help in the community. I don't want to see anybody lose their home because they didn't know how to do it. So, so the phones, open houses, I used to do this a lot more, but after COVID, things got a little squirrely. So I dialed back on this a lot, but I was doing monthly client appreciation parties. And I'd go to a restaurant and I'd say, hey, we're going to have 40, 50 people here. And I'd put out I have a little group with my clients in it. And I just post, hey, we got 40 seats, 50 seats available on this date, RSVP as soon as possible to first 40 or 50 or, you're in there. So it was amazing. And I need to get back to that. And that's something I've been struggling with, getting back on the horse and getting back out there and doing that. Yeah. Because it's so fulfilling because a lot of the people that move here don't know anyone, so it was really fun because I'd be able to say, okay, he's from Ohio, they're from Ohio. Let's put them at the same table.
Yeah.
He loves to golf. Let's put him at the same table. And then I'll get pictures of them out on the golf course together.
Cool. Yeah,
really neat. Cool. It's a good feeling, and then when you build that family, usually they stick around with you because you're
clients for life.
Much value. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was gonna say it sounds like, and that's how I like to come from a place of value, right? Like lead with value. It'll come back to you, and it sounds like you're kind of the same thing. And I've just found it works like really well, right? Like providing value to people and expecting nothing in return. It's gonna like naturally come. So it sounds like you're kind of from that same school of thought or whatever you want to call it. And then one thing I also thought was really cool was the open house statistics. So, just for all the sellers listening, the old, especially some older clients and some areas of self-explored, one of the questions that always comes up during the listing appointment is how many times a week are you going to do an open house, right? And I feel like what a lot of people don't realize is the odds of an open house is really more for the agent's lead generation efforts, right? Yeah. I mean, the odds of someone walking in there on a Saturday afternoon and they might buy a house. They also might buy a house with you as the agent, but the odds of them buying that house, I think the last statistic last year is 4% or something like that. 4% of the people that bought a house found it at an open house. So it's pretty low statistics. So I actually don't do many open houses just for that reason. Like when I do my listing presentation, I actually share that statistic. I'm like, hey, it's just, like 90% of people found their home through either online or a realtor or like a neighbor, right? So that's why I focus my marketing on is like online. marketing to other realtors / networking, and neighbors, like circle prospecting, or like a flyer, or just a sign in the yard. Obviously, that's a pretty cheap way to let everybody know your house is sold, right? But I do agree it works for lead generation. So I just found that interesting, because I feel like a lot of sellers don't realize that, right? They're like, oh, he does an open house 3 times a week. He must be doing something right. We'll sell my house, So
yeah, it's not like back in the day, when there wasn't the internet, open houses in a newspaper or whatever the case may be. That and I always go back to this. What people don't know what they don't know, So it takes some education on that. So sitting down and telling them, only 4% actually sell from the open house. However, I think those statistics are going to be changing with the new laws that are in place. There's a lot of people that do not understand buyers, agents. I just talked to a broker yesterday that I literally had to walk through exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say most agents don't even understand. I got a call from a friend the other day, and he was like, hey, can you talk to his mom as an agent? And he's like, hey, can you talk to my mom about this? I'm like, I mean, sure, but also just call her broker, but I'll do it. Just so.
And some people are afraid to have that conversation because they don't want to feel like that one in the room, but ask more. The more questions you ask, the better, in my opinion. But with the new laws, a lot of buyers they haven't been educated to know that, hey, yes, this contract is in place, but it's not saying that the money's got to come from your pocket. It's just saying that you're going to agree to make sure I get paid X amount, So a lot of those buyers, instead of even calling an agent to figure this out, they are on Zillow and they are just going from open house to open house. Now, again, they're trying to go straight to the listing agent because they don't want to pay that buyer's agent commission.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
There still could be buyer's agent commission, even if you're going straight to the listing agent. So,
that, but also like when you're on Zillow, like as you know, when you hit book tour, that actually doesn't go to the listing agent. That booking the tour or scheduling the tour, you have more questions, like that button routes you to a Zillow Premier agent that's paying Zillow for leads. So
thousands of dollars for leads.
Yeah. And, also obviously it never hurts, especially in such a big transaction, to have a person in your corner that's just in your corner for you, not the transaction in form of a transaction broker. Right. So it's a weird transition period. It sounds like you've gotten through it pretty well. And so I always like to see challenges as opportunities. I see it. Yeah. Well, I just see it where people, kind of what you're getting at, right? Like a lot of agents now are scared, might even lose the business, don't have the knowledge to explain this to a buyer correctly. And, it is hard because I'm still figuring out, like, what am I going to say to a buyer to explain this in like a correct way? And it is tough, but, I feel like it's opportunities for strong agents to gain some market share, because I think it will weed out some maybe part-time agents or weaker agents or whatever you want, inexperienced, whatever you want to call it, right? So I do see that as an opportunity, but it is a weird transition phase, and I think we're all also learning. But all in all, it's been not as bad as the media and other agents made it seem, in my experience, like what I've experienced. So,
and I know some people that are making more money because of this, and some that are taking advantage of it and making more money by kind of exploiting the whole system with it, which I don't completely agree with, but their business, so, and there's more changes coming. Like just a couple of days ago, I heard the DOJ is not very happy with the buyer broker agreement. So what changes they're going to make, we're going to have more forms, more signatures needed. But I mean, if it helps with the transparency like it is initially supposed to, then I'm all for it. I feel like it's muddying the waters a bit right now, though. So
it is, but I think it's just like with any changes, we, in the grand scheme of things, you and I haven't been in the industry that long. But I mean, everybody, like that's been doing this for decades. And, there's always been stuff like this every 10 years. Like everybody freaks out, and then after a year, it becomes a new norm. And I just feel like it's going to be the same with this, right? It's kind of muddy right now, but once the dust settles, it will be the new norm, and it does create more of a conversation about who pays for what and how much, which that's obviously what they wanted to achieve. So
Exactly.
more transparency, competition. That's obviously what America is founded on: competition and kind of furthering the system and bettering products and services and systems. So I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and then lastly, Nate, we were talking a little bit about marketing and marketing strategies and different approaches. Do you have like a specific maybe success story for us where a marketing strategy that you implemented made a significant difference in like closing a deal, whether you're representing a buyer or a seller?
Marketing wise, so I've kind of like, bit off my name as much as I possibly can. So I believe in like being at the right place, not just at the right time, but all the time. So every single opportunity I get for brand awareness, I jump at. I don't jump at lead gen opportunities, spending on ads. But if I could put my face on a table in a restaurant, it's going to be there. If I could put my face on TVs throughout, brand awareness is the longevity of the marketing side,
Right. Yeah.
I know I'll be fine. I don't need the instant ROI on the money I spent. So I really look at it from a long-term standpoint. And I love it because there's times where I'll be somewhere and I'll go up and shake somebody's hand. And before I even say my name, they're like, "Oh, Nate, yeah, I see you here. I see you there, blah, blah, blah." So even if those people aren't buying or selling with me, just to know that it's working and I'm in their mind is good. Because just being top of mind and relevant when people think real estate, if I'm popping up in the top 3 or 4 in their head, that's all I want,
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, Nate, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure having you on, and we'll obviously link all of your social media accounts down below in the description. But if someone wants to get in touch with you directly, is there a phone number they can call or an email or both?
Absolutely. 239-321-3218, or you can email me at info@newhomenate.com.
All right. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for your time and appreciated our chat, and happy selling, as they say.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Kevin. I appreciate it.
You got it.
And that wraps up another insightful episode of the 239 Real Estate Roundtable Podcast. I hope you enjoyed our discussions and gained valuable knowledge to enhance your home ownership journey here in Southwest Florida. A big thank you to our incredible guests and, of course, to you, our listeners, for joining us. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, or if you'd like to connect, feel free to reach out. You can find us on Instagram at @KevinTremmel_real estate, on Facebook at Kevin Tremmel Real Estate, or visit our website, kevintremmel.com. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Your feedback is crucial, and we're always eager to hear from you. Until next time, this is Kevin Tremmel, your host, signing off. See you on the next episode.